Yo,
Playoffs.
is Coast to Coast back again. Playoffs, baby.
We're talking about the playoffs?
Listen. Playoffs. You talking about playoffs? No. It's like a remix of playoffs with Allen Iverson. Like playoffs. Practice. Anyway, hey, look. Thanks everybody for joining us. This is officially week 14, the playoffs. Give it up for our playoff entrants. That would be Raph at the 1. That would be Jeremy at the 2. That would be Marv at the 3. And last but certainly not least, the man of many talents, the man who knows how to rally, the man who came from nothing to something, the man, look at me now, Chris Brown, the man who himself single-handedly put the fear in all of the playoff teams because he didn't want to be here, but he's here. Freeway Ricky. Freeway Rick Ross in the playoff building.
Oh.
We got a nice little neat, sleek slate for everybody watching. But we'll start off just with housekeeping. So the draft order, at least for the first 6 teams, is decided. This is the first year that's going to be pretty clean. Like, the tiebreakers are really, I don't want to say null and void, but I'll dive into them as they apply. So at the first pick, you're going to have Vern. At the second pick, you're going to have Brett. At the third pick, you're going to have myself. At the fourth pick, you're going to have Romel. At the fifth pick, you're going to have Plunkert. And at the sixth pick, you're going to have Gene. Orders or slots 7 through 10 are going to be decided by the finishes in the playoffs. We'll discuss them as they become relevant. As far as tiebreakers, you had, I believe, me and Mel. Those were the only tiebreakers. And just looking at that one, Mel had beat me and he outscored me, which is the outscoring part is the more relevant part because we only play each other one time. So therefore, I take the 3 spot. It's funny, Mel was like, yeah, you'll be picking after me, blah, blah, blah. How does it feel? It feels good. Like I told him, I'll be picking after him in the 5th round. So it's all good. It's all good. I got the detonator at least over Romel. Very happy about that. With regard to any other league issues, league legislature will take care of that at the end of the season. But again, the draft order will keep everybody up to date with that as we move forward. With regard to the handling of waivers, it's always been our sort of unwritten rule to we'll go round by round, but for this round, let the 4 playoff teams, submit their claims, which has probably already been done given that the game starts tonight. And then, if any of the non-entrants, I would even say the non-entrants, you really don't need to be on waivers at all, but it's not a legislated rule, it's just an unwritten rule. But let the playoff dudes eat. Let them have their say so. They're still in the competition thing, and we really aren't. We'll cover the finals waivers, unwritten rules when we get there. So with that being said, off camera, Raph wanted to do a recap of the season, but we kind of felt that we covered those bases last week. But of relevance, you had the Ricky and Gene matchup. So I want to open the floor up to my dudes, my co-hosts, my ride or dies, my co-pilots. I want to open it up to Raph. Glad to have you back this week, brother.
Feels good to be back. Be back.
No doubt. And then my main man, P. Webb over there. Great to have you in the building tonight, brother.
Thank you, sir. It's good to be here. I'm not back in the playoffs like Raph is, but I am back on video, so that's the least I can do.
Hey, Vern, listen, you get the pleasure of looking at my record and know that the one asterisk that I suffered in the season was at the hands of yours truly. So this season was not for nothing. So you got something for it. So you can hang your hat, brother.
Thank you, sweet Lord. Thank you.
Vern don't need your permission. He did that.
No, Raph, but it does give me great pleasure to deny you that fantasy excellence, at least for one more year.
Has it ever been done?
No. So I'm glad to deny you because that's something that's on my to-do list. I want to be the first one.
12-1 has only been accomplished one time by Mr. Romel, but he did lose in the playoffs that year.
Keep those
and to the eventual champion. And you know what? Since we're not in the playoffs, just for props' sake, hold on. And the commemorative, trophy for that year, we're living in the past, whatever. So the year when I beat Romel in that first round, I was the number 14. This was the trophy that I got when I won. So props to myself.
Was that the year he ran the circuit at the draft?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, Romel, he did his thing. I
remember that year. Yeah.
And that will lead to another conversation about playoff strategy, which I will not get into at all. Let's just say that, I was able to emerge victorious. So 12-1 teams, man, it's not the silver brick road, yellow brick road to the finals.
It's like the Madden curse. It's like the Madden curse.
I'm just saying. Anyway. So let's if y'all don't have any, or do y'all have any issues y'all just want to throw out before we dive into the Gene and Ricky matchup?
Nah, I think that's the place to go. Let's take a look at after, man.
All right, let's pull it up then. Let's pull it up. I mean, needless to say, we all know that Ricky was able to get the dub.
And
it was close.
Yeah, that matchup was from jump. It was like from jump. It wasn't as climactic as we all expected it to be.
Yeah.
Let me ask y'all brothers, man. Did you all feel that just going in that it was going to be tight, or did you look at it and say, nah, Gene don't have a chance?
I felt like Gene had a chance, but he had to put in the right dudes. So he had to go with his horses. So to me, it's like if you went with your horses, you didn't take a lot of gambles. I kind of felt like that was the way to go. And I know, like me and AC, when we did the talk about that, I was kind of suggesting that without necessarily like telling you, hey, dude, put this dude in the lineup. But that's kind of how I saw it. I was like, okay, look, Gene, you fought all the way here, and you fought all the way here with the guys that basically working off your depth. Like, don't go away from that. But I mean, at the same time, Ricky put up $186. Like, I mean,
that's a statement. That's a statement win. Like if there was any question as to whether or not you belong here, you drop $186. I think that you have spoken.
Yeah. So the first question is in retrospect, right? Was there anything, and this is all Monday morning quarterback, doesn't make a difference, but anything that Gene could have done different?
I mean, he got the Corey Davis went off, but I mean that's. It's like if you got to win a go home situation, do you really feel comfortable talking about I'm gonna throw Corey Davis out there to save the day?
I absolutely. Me personally, I was in another league, so we won't go too deep into this. But I was 6-6, and I needed to win to get into the playoffs. I had to win, and my choices were Claypool, Terry McLaurin, Shepard, and Corey Davis. And I had to go with Corey Davis. I just kind of felt something with the way Cleveland was going to come out and play it. Like, yo, this dude, Derrick Henry, just went off the last week. He just went off for, like, banana numbers. Like, yo, we're going to focus in on stopping the run. And I didn't expect him to go for 35. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that I expected Corey Davis to go off at 35, but what I saw was this game is going to turn into a shootout because they're going to have to air this ball. They're going to have to air it out. So, and to me, that was the only way Cleveland's going to win is by throwing the ball. So, to me, I just had that gut feeling like, yo, this is a Corey Davis game. I'm not saying it wouldn't be an A.J. Brown game, but I expected both of them to do basically like 17 plus on both sides. So that's how
What
I
was,
saw it. So
what was
if
the
I had
final
to give
score
an
of
honest
your game,
estimate,
bro?
huh?
What was the final score of your game that you played?
The final score in that game was like 157. I think it was 157.
157.
I had Chuck, so that was that was helpful.
157 to what though?
157 to like 135.
Okay. So would it be safe to say that it's like that? It's like in basketball. Like
He didn't win you. The Corey Davis didn't win you the game. Corey Davis didn't win you the game. The other guy just didn't perform. That's basically what you're saying.
There was no pressure on you. It's like you were up, like you at the free throw line and you only had to hit one of the two free throws, like at the end of the game.
Well, see, here's what's interesting about that. And again, this is another league, so I don't want to get too much into it.
Okay.
But two things happened. I had Antonio Gibson in that lineup too. So he dropped a straight dud. So I was supposed to walk away. Like I was scheduled, like when Sunday night finished, I had Antonio Gibson, I had Ben Roethlisberger, I had Claypool still in the lineup, and I had Mostert still in the lineup. And I think at that point I had scored like 90-something points already, and he already had his 135. They had me scheduled to go 180. So between the four of them, with Mostert doing nothing, and then Gibson getting hurt, it's a good thing Corey Davis showed up. So just saying, just context.
I mean, if you're so I guess my thing is if you're Monday quarterbacking it, and you're looking at that win or go home situation, and you look at like between Terry McLaurin going up against Pitt versus Corey Davis going up against Cleveland. My thing is, I could see a scenario like, oh, he's going up against Pitt, whatever. Like, it is what it is. But I feel like the floor would have been safer with Terry McLaurin in hindsight, or rather, without hindsight, without the benefit of hindsight. But
yeah, I agree. I don't think he could have. I mean,
I don't think he could have.
I'm not going to argue him putting in Terry McLaurin. What I'm going to argue is Lockett. That's what I'm going to argue. It's like if you've really been paying attention to the Giants and how they've been defending on the outside, you would know like that number, like those guys, like they're not getting off like that on the Giants in the secondary. So to me, and then on top of that, it's Lockett. We all know what Lockett does. He's a boom or bust kind of guy. So for me, it's like considering like just how that was going to play out and the fact that Ward for Cleveland was out, that was really the deciding factor that made me push the button. As I saw that, what's his first name? Is it Denzel Ward? I think it's Denzel Ward. He was out for the game. I said, yep, put him in. So for me, it's like paying attention to that little bit of nuance. For me, it made my decision. But, yeah, I'm going to pick Corey Davis over Lockett any day. Number one, Corey Davis has been more consistent. Just look at his numbers. He's been double digits for like the last 7 games. So, yeah, you could get a boom game with Lockett, but
you know what? So this is where art mimics life a little bit. It's like in a win or go home situation, if you can't trust the horses that got you there, then what are you doing? Like that's you can't sit. You can't sit Lockett and McLaurin.
Yeah, see,
I'm not saying sit McLaurin. I'm saying I would have sat Lockett. That's what I'm saying.
I can't, based on the diagram of his lineup, I can't say that he did anything wrong in terms of Lockett, McLaurin, or Davis. I mean, here's the thing. I don't know, Vern, if in other leagues you've owned Davis, but I know Raph has. I have. Like, Davis he'll show you something. You're like, all right, my baby, he's arrived. like your grandmother on Sunday at church, right? But then he also can disappear. Like, it's not like the Titans are like this offensive juggernaut that just comes out there every week. Well, offensive juggernaut in the sense of passing game, where Tannehill just come out and he just lay it on you every week. So I would, in a win or go home, I can't trust Davis's consistency. And I know Lockett, right? There's a reason why I never really target him. But for what it is, if you're like, look, do you believe in magic and miracles happen and all of that? You gotta ride with him because the dude could really come out of like left field with a big game that you need. Like he could give you what Davis did. I think I would be more so of the thought process that if anybody can sort of hit me a home run, if I need a rally, I would put that trust in Lockett. Even going up against a tougher Giants defense. I mean, these guys are not the 2000 Ravens here. But I don't find any fault with who we put in for the wide receivers. I'm looking at Devontae Booker. And again, I don't think any of this stuff makes a difference. See, I would have got really neat in terms of I wouldn't, unless I had to rely on receivers, I'm really not throwing 3 in there. I'm going to probably put 3 running backs if I can. So I would have got Gordo in that lineup, and who else?
I agree.
The thing with Booker is I just don't trust Gruden or the Raiders. But that's a rule for me. Like I'm like, if I haven't followed a team, I'm kind of hesitant to just jump on a team and just put their guys in because it's like I don't really know how they operate. So even if the matchup looked tasty, it's just like I just don't trust Oakland at all. Or I'm sorry, Las Vegas. So what would I have done different? I can't say Henderson because he got that on a touchdown. But I definitely would have got Gordon in that lineup somehow, some way. And that still wouldn't have made a difference.
No, but I mean, 186, like nothing would have changed. I don't think there's any scenario that you could put together that would have ended up giving Gene a win versus 186. I just don't see it.
Listen,
I'm gonna tell you,
when Mike Gillespie is dropping 23 points and Montgomery's giving you 30 in your tight end and flex spots, it's a long day for you.
When Montgomery scored that second touchdown, I think it was still about Sunday at like 2:00. I was like, yeah.
Right.
Look at his play card. Montgomery has scored 3 touchdowns, running the ball this year. 2 of them he got on Sunday. I was like, it just ain't happening, Captain. Carson did Carson things. Gallman has been giving him, some juice out of the bullpen. Adams did Adams things, like you said, Raf Gaiseki.
Who did Ricky play at tight end?
Gesicki.
Mike Gaiseki.
Gesicki, right? See, that's when I knew. I was like, between Gesicki and Montgomery, I was like, Gesicki went off too? I'm like, yeah, it's over, bro. Like, it's nothing you could do. And it's like, that's like one of those where when it happens to you, you just wash it off. Like, you don't even feel bad. Like, it's Gesicki. Like, word, like I'm not going to even triple with that.
Yeah, it's like, nah, you good, brother. You good.
I mean, the interesting part about that is if Gesicki and Montgomery don't go off and give you kind of more pedestrian type numbers, I think it would have been. Well, no, actually, still would have won. But yeah, it's. I'll tell you this. I think there's an advantage. Like you got look at Devontae Adams, and there's just such an advantage when you got somebody like Aaron Rodgers throwing you the rock. To somebody like Adams. Like that's such a. It's like having, and then he also has.
I'm sorry, I'm not laughing at that. I'm laughing at something Marvin said. Go ahead, keep talking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, and then at the other wide receiver spot, he has Mahomes throwing to Tyreek Hill. Like that's such a competitive advantage that doesn't really jump off like just on the face of it, because nobody else can really put forth somebody like you would think like Lockett. All right, he got Russell Wilson, but Russell Wilson hasn't really been going off like that the last couple of weeks. So it's hard to it's hard to deal with that. Yeah. I got to deal with that.
At the end of the day, yeah, you do. But at the end of the day, 186. What can you say?
Yeah.
Now, where do we go from here? So I think the storyline for Ricky, and I guess we can start to get into the games. I mean, unless there's anything else we wanted to recap. I mean, the losers lost. The playoff people did their playoff thing. I think we got to give a shout out to Germ for winning his division, and then you over there, Raph, for winning your division. This is, I don't know how many division titles you have to this point, but, it's always good. It really, it's just for the kind of kicks and giggles, but, because I keep track of that stuff, but, the winning division is saying something. I mean, you got to play the people in your division 8 times. So to come out at the end of the day, in the pole position or, even to make the playoffs, but pole position in the division, that's a big statement. So congrats to you. And Germ, I don't have anything else to say on last week, unless you guys do.
I mean, no, that's pretty
I
much.
think that covers it.
Okay.
I think that covers it, man. Salute to both Raph and Germ, man. And I would say, what's interesting with Germ is, Germ's been, in his own little way, he started off slow. Like I think all of us kind of anticipated that Marvin would win that division with the way that he started off. But, even with losing Kittle, like Germ has made that team into, man, it's really a monster. And in his own way, he kind of strong-armed that division away from Marvin. So Marvin's got a lot to show Germ this upcoming week, man. I'm looking forward to that matchup.
Yeah. Which leads us right in. So which one of y'all want to do first? Raph, feel free to, sort of sequester yourself from talking about yours if you want. Or do you guys want to talk about the Germ, Marvin, or the Raph, Ricky? Double R.
Double R. Yeah, I mean, hey, since we already talking about it, I mean, this matchup between Ricky and Raph it's going to be interesting. I think, like Raph kind of indicated early on, like Ricky is just hot. He's just hot, and I don't know if McCaffrey's going to play.
He's not. He ain't playing this week.
He not hurt? You sure?
No, I say he not playing this week.
He's not playing.
Oh, he's not. Oh, he's done. Oh, okay. Because I know he's questionable, but I didn't know like what the official word is. So it's like, well, for what it is, we don't look at projections, but just as it speaks right now, Ricky is projected 10 points higher than Raph. And I'm not saying that it's completely accurate, but I will say, Raph, you're in trouble, my friend. You are in trouble. You're in for a dogfight.
Listen, man, these wins aren't easy, man. So I'll just I'll put my best team up forward. Hope I come out on top. But I don't underestimate or take Ricky's team for granted at all. I feel like my team did what it had to do during the season. I've done as well as I have basically without Christian McCaffrey. And that, I can't – to be where I'm at now, if you would have told me back after week 2, like, hey, you're not going to have McCaffrey for the rest of the season, and you told me I'd be here, winning the division, first seed, like I call that a success, regardless of whoever I'm playing. But I think this is going to be interesting. I think this is kind of why I truly like this 2-week playoff format, because it kind of takes those fluke games out of the question.
Raph, you like it this week because you losing.
That's all right. Listen, man. But
you like, nah, I like the 1-week format, shout.
Nah. Because you know what? Like, I think there's an added element of intrigue when it's 2 weeks, right? So it's like, all right, it's like the end of game 1 or week 1 is that that it's halftime, and then you got to come back and see what happens next week. But man, hats off to Ricky, man. Like I said, it's a problem when you got to go up against Devontae Adams and Tyreek Hill. No question about it. So, and I'm doing it without Christian McCaffrey. So that's,
Yeah. I tell you what, Ricky, he traded you Mike Davis.
that could, listen. But
he could have used Mike Davis right now.
But you know what, though? Mike Davis hasn't, I don't know if that was just a product of just like they just had some fun. People were just healthier, had more energy at the beginning of the season. But he hasn't really been the Mike Davis of like weeks 1 through 6, the second half of the season. So, I don't know if it's necessarily even a given that he starts for my team. I'm still looking at all that. I got a couple of days to kind of figure it out, but we shall see.
Yeah, I mean that's all in strategy. I mean, again, if I was Ricky, well, see, you want to make trades, you want to do this, improve your team, but again, even me thinking about trading with you, Raph, it's just like one of the main things focuses for me is like, look, you're winning. I'm not trying to help you. Like, if anything, I'm going to make a trade that's favorable to me, and that's real. That's real. Like I said, because we've talked about trades. Of course I'm looking, but one of those thoughts is like, yo, like I'm not trying to help. And so Ricky didn't know he'd be in this position, but man, like if you didn't have Davis, even to say, look, the prospect of getting 15 to 20 points at least, and Ricky had that to use against you. Oh, the tables would be you'd be hurting right now. And that's every move, every move, man. I mean, I'm telling you, like the moves that we don't think, the picks that we make or don't make, everything is all related. So I think, Raph, I mean, look, man, you got the heart of a champ, man. You're rolling out your team. It's just you have like the buzzsaw matchup of the first round, because you just don't know how it can go. And again, see the thing with Adams, I mean, he's just a weekly. When you got Adams, man, he's about as sure as it can be as a wide receiver. So like Michael Thomas, like knowing like, all right, I'm gonna roll him out there this week. I'm gonna get at least 8 catches, 90 yards in a tub, or some form of scoring 15 to 20 points at least.
Yeah.
Hill is the question mark. Like if Mahomes come out there and he like, look, what we doing today, Tyreek, and Tyreek is throwing up deuces or whatever he be doing.
Yeah.
It'll be a long day.
If he's going for a 60-yard run 2 minutes into the first quarter, it's gonna be a long day.
Word. So yeah, I mean, just kind of breaking it down, like Ricky, man, he got all the right matchups. He got A-Rod.
Burn froze.
He got hit with around the horn.
Those still pitches be funny, man.
Nah, man, but you know, I mean, I'll take up where he left. I mean, he's right though, right? Because Carson is up against New Jersey, is up against the Jets. You know, Aaron Rodgers is at Detroit. You know, Tyreek Hill, they're playing up against, you know, they're at Miami. Gesicki's playing KC. So I mean, you got some potential shootouts here. So, you know, I think his matchups are definitely more favorable than mine. You know, I got freaking Josh Allen going up against Pitt, which.
Yeah, I gotta give you some kudos for that pick, though. I mean, pivoting to him when you lose Lamar, I mean, that saves the day. Like the power of having a good backup.
You know, and that was part of, you know, I ain't gonna go into all the strategy and stuff, but it was like, you know, I think people take for granted when you know, going into the season, you got somebody like Lamar. He's like a set it, forget it. You done with it. Like he's like Mahomes. Like you ain't never sitting him. But you know, there's a value, and I'm gonna tell you this obviously, but you know, there's a value in just having a backup. And if, you know, the more quality backup you have, it keeps him out of the hands of somebody else. But just in case you got somebody to fall back on. So he saved my quarterback position, that's for sure.
Just in case. I don't make it.
Get home tonight.
Listen, man, Vern was right. Like Ricky, you look at his thing and it's all green. Like opponent right. Green means go, man.
It's all good.
Green means go, brother. I mean, look, man. Look, bro.
Chris Carson versus Jets.
Dog, like A-Rod versus Detroit. That means Devontae Adams versus Detroit.
Yep.
Tyreek Hill versus Miami. I mean, I really don't see no. I mean, I can. Who can call like a 50-point game for Hill? But I don't think that Miami is necessarily going to come out and hold them to 2 catches for 15 yards either. Whatever that means. I mean, I don't know. Tyreek Hill has a floor. I just don't think they just want to just all the way shut him down.
Right.
Montgomery versus Houston.
I live in Houston, bro. Don't. I ain't gotta tell you. I ain't gotta tell you what the state of affairs is here. I think I make a weekly Houston reference every Sunday because I get the pleasure of watching the Texans play here locally. So.
Yeah. I don't know, bro. I listen. If we had to pick, who we picking? Raph, you stay out of this.
You know, I'm picking myself. So.
I would say, look, it's a 2-week matchup, and I will say, for Raph's sake, thank goodness it is. So I think this week 1 is going to be a little bit rough for old Raphy boy.
It's a little shaky. A
little shaky. So I would say I anticipate that Ricky is going to get off like a 15 point, like a 10 to 15 point lead. That's the way I see it.
Hold on, my dog is going to bark. Let me mute.
So just kind of looking back at Raph, like your matchups, like I think that Buffalo versus Pittsburgh, I think that's actually going to turn to be a shootout. Dalvin Cook, he's going to be Dalvin Cook. He's going to hold you down. So I don't think you're going to really, be crying about what he gives you. So he's going to check in. Mike Davis versus Denver, and then Calvin Ridley is kind of where I have my questions at. Ridley just hasn't been how he started off. I know he's been kind of banged up. So it's a really a question of, okay, what can you get out of Mike Davis and Ridley? Metcalf versus the Jets, you already know how that's going to play out. He's going to put up a number.
Yeah.
And then you got Jefferson. And I think Jefferson, he's going to do his thing, if that's the way you decide to go. So I don't think Ricky is going to, completely, walk you down. But he might get off to, a 10, 15-point lead, at least for this week. And then it becomes a Week 15 thing. So we'll see.
I think that this is going to be a replay of year one. I mean, Raph, you don't have the league history, but you probably do well to go back, talk to Plunk or somebody, not about a trade as y'all like to do. Talk to him about year one, Vern versus Marvin in that final, because this is eerily reminiscent where he just had the 2 receiver game going strong, and I think it's gonna get a little ugly for you, bro. I'm not even saying turbulent. I just think that it's going to be one of those situations where
if this was a boxing match, it's like you get cut in the second round, but you trying to go the distance.
Right. Right.
So
have faith, brother. Have faith.
Like I said, I trust, honestly and truthfully, I trust my ponies, man. And shout out to Rick. Like I said, his team is solid for sure. Like I said, I think the whole 2-week thing, I think is there's something to be said for that. So we'll see how my team comes out. So.
There's a certain psychological, which I don't know if it transfers to family. I don't know if it transfers to fantasy, the actual game, but seeing yourself down and, the kind of, what the killer is in his lineup? He has the right quarterback wide receiver tandem.
Yep.
Just and so if I'm not saying it will play out this way, but if you're down next week, and every time Rodgers throws the ball to Adams, every touchdown, every catch, it's just going to be very annoying. Because he just doesn't have the kind of QB that's like, all right, Adams, you good. You got your 6 catches. A-Rod just be like, yo, Adams, Adams. That's all he sees out there on that field, bro. And you may have to be in a situation where you got to keep – this is where true champions get made, though. I mean, you're a 2-time champ, Raph, well-deserved. And I think going through these playoffs, you're also picking up just different lessons as you play more and more games. So I think for all of you, your strategy, how well you guys can strategize is going to be front and center. I really do, because you psychologically just have to put whatever happens this week behind you. Because even if you're up, he's going to be in a situation where, again, he has the right sort of triangle offense. And again, the running backs, they just all right, we just here to do what we do today. We good. But it's that receiver bust on, man. That's just it's a tough thing. So I think your ability to strategize is going to be front and center. I know some things that I would be doing right now, but again, this is not for information passing purposes.
Yeah.
But Raph, I would just say, however it goes, psychologically, stay in the game, brother.
I'm in there, brother. No worries.
Stay in the game. It's hard like Vern said last week, to go back to back is something unprecedented in this league. So I can't even say I'm wishing you well. It's just go do your thing. If you get it, then I'm gonna definitely salute you. But these are the things that come along with it, just the journey. You weather the storm. I will definitely give you your flowers. You weathered the storm this season. You had to deal with some stuff, so you rightfully deserve to be 12-1, defending champ, back for the title defense. And Ricky's just a guy in the way right now to your ultimate goal. And I'll be honest with you, I think if you can clear this matchup, I think that you will at least fare well in the finals. But you gotta clear this one, baby.
Gotta get there first. So
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm picking Rick though for the first round. I'm picking Rick.
AC, you just want to see some new blood with some chips.
No, listen. I mean, if you got 3, see, Plunk has 3. If you got 3, I mean, it still gives me at least another year to try to get a team together. But you know, you got to be okay with the runs in this league. And I said this last year. Once you put together that team you had with Cook and McCaffrey and even Lamar at the time, I'm like, man, this brother could probably win like 2, 3, not 1, not 2, not 3. Like, so you have that kind of team. So eventually the success is going to translate. It's just, you know, whether it's Marvin or me or Vern or whoever, like you can't always stay on top. Like at some point, the other people are going to catch up and maybe even pass you, and you gotta be all right with that. So if you win, brother. I mean, I'd be more like, dang, like this brother was the first to get 2 back-to-back. And especially in this league, because this league is the toughest league out there. But I can't hate on it. It's just like AC, you got to get back in the game, man. You gotta figure it out. So that's all.
Yes, sir.
I'm going with Rick though, because I just think that he just has the right team at the right time. Not so much to beat you or beat anybody. He just has the right team. Like the dude is battle tested. He's had to fight every week. He's had to study and pay attention on a level that you guys haven't had to. And, you know, now you're starting to see, you know, the matchups play in his favor, the health play in his favor. And he's just a tough out. Like, he's just as legit. Where you are like, look, man, I'm just getting back from the Bahamas, you know? So, yeah, he's had to be in the dogfight like every week for the last month and some change. And I just think, you know, he's battle tested. So
yeah, they just got my passport stamp, taking off the chanclas, and you know, I'm off.
Yeah. And the weird thing is like, dude, you don't even want to be here, Rick. Like, you did everything to not be here, but yet you're here, and like you could move on.
Yeah.
So, but it'll be I think the final score is going to be reflective of like you are the defending champ, no matter what way it goes. It's going to be reflective of Ricky came in here in the grind. This is not going to be one of those like you know the winner put up 300 points and the loser put up 210. Like this is going to be sort of like that 320, 305, 310 kind of thing. At least that's what I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
good luck, brother.
Thank you, fellas. I'll see what we can do. We'll recap this at same time next week. See what the trajectory looks like. So.
Yeah. So let's talk about German Marv. Anybody?
Well, Marv is off to a great start. Just saying that. So.
Yeah.
This comes back to something that AC said about him being like the guy that really is the cerebral guy. So, yeah, he's off to a great start. And you can guess why.
Yeah, I'm kind of just piecing together. He not picked up, but he played Akers tonight.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And he's paying those dividends.
Yeah, that's a great return on the investment right there, man. So
when you need it, you need it.
Just in time, because Akers have not been doing anything all season. So, hey, he's busting out. I think 157 yards tonight.
Yeah,
he's looking great.
But that goes to my point though, right? So like with the whole 2-week format, you can afford to this is the difference between we talk about Corey Davis and that whole win or go home situation. Let's pretend for a second that it was Gene and Ricky for the first round of the playoffs, and they got 2 weeks to show out. Then maybe perhaps you could take some gambles and be like, all right, maybe for one half of this week, for the first week, I'm gonna just kind of go with my gut instinct and kind of throw this dude in here who, if he goes off, it could be a difference maker, but it's not ride or die, right? It's not win or go home. And I feel like with somebody like Cam Akers, this is where I think this is a perfect example of the format really playing into Mar's favor, right? Because you know, if Cam Akers came out and just kind of gave you, 12 points, 10, 15 points, whatever, it's whatever, it is what it is. But you can re-strategize for week 2 and make up that difference if you have to.
Yeah, but you know what, Raph? I can't. I gotta push back on that in the sense that I don't. We got to put more respect on Marvin's process than that. It was not by like rolling the dice and gambling. I mean, ultimately, yes, you're rolling the dice on any lineup that you put in, but the way he operates is that came from study, a belief in his study, knowing whatever's going on that Rams team, knowing the opponent, like that didn't just come from like, all right, we'll just see. Cam Akers, man, let's try him out tonight, and if not, then I can rebound next week. No, that's not how.
I guess I was oversimplifying it, but I mean, yeah, for sure. To your point, I think obviously, I think Marv probably better than anybody else in the league can, from a cerebral standpoint, yeah, no disrespect in that regard. Maybe Marv is not the best example of that, but like any one of these kind of playoff teams,
I get what you're saying. I totally understand 100%. It's like, all right, well, if I just got to throw caution to win. Me personally, if I'm more in the Marvin camp, but if I had to do that, it'd be in week 2 or the second week. But first week, I'm just kind of marching out my dogs, and then really at any point, like I learned this lesson years ago, not even in this league. Like, you don't play around. Like,
don't be cute. Don't be cute.
Yeah, like don't.
I think to me this is kind of like where you kind of get like this perfect storm. So you know that Marvin's going to study, right? So he kind of knows, like, basically Cam Akers has taken over that job. Like, he didn't roll in there putting them in there like, yeah, well, he might have to deal with Michael Brown, might have to deal with Darrell Henderson, but I think it's going to be a good night. That was not Marvin's production.
Right.
Like, he saw, like, okay, this dude is his job now. So you have that. So you got the study part, but then you also have the situation where Antonio Gibson is down. We don't know if he's going to play. Hilaire, for all that it's worth, he's kind of been scattershot. So it's like, okay, do I really want to make that decision right now and lock that in? So to me, and then you got Kareem Hunt playing versus Baltimore, which is like, all right, seeing what Chubb is doing, like there's a fade on Kareem Hunt. So to me, it's like both study, but also situation. So I think considering all those dynamics going in at once, like this is absolutely the right call. And not because like Cam Akers is putting up all these points, but just like put the blinders over my eyes. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know Cam Akers had scored 24 points. I would say that was the right call. Just because it's like, hey, everybody else is kind of like trending down. And this is the guy that's trending up. And it's the Patriots. You know they weak. You know they ain't got no D. So it's like, roll them up. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
To me, it's like it's really the best call that he has out of the remaining backs that he has.
Yeah, and yeah, see, I agree with that. That's how he operates. It's not just like, yo, I picked up third string tonight. So hey, brother, like, give me what you got, man. You got 15 carries to show what you worked tonight, ball. No, that's just not how he operates. I'm going to just give my summation of what I think of Germ and Marv. Germ, we really bonded over just LM stuff this year, but I think Marvin is going to win this one, and I don't even think it's going to be close. I'm saying that based on Miles Sanders, man. Like, you can't go into these playoff races without your horses, man. I mean, you need if you're basing your team on really the running backs, then you need them all to be ready to rock. I'm going to act like we don't know what Cam Akers is doing tonight, just so I can try to give as fair as assessment as possible. But I just know, like, and then I think just for lineup's sake, Germ, at least for the time being, I think he's going to run out the 3 wide thing. Yeah. Man, it can work, brother. It can work, but you gotta have cheat codes, man, because 3 wide receivers in my mind is something that I'll do if I have to. It's never because I want to. And you're going up against Marv, who it's a matchup. I'll see him in sort of in a tight space to roll out 3. But I haven't even looked at his lineup. I can imagine he's going to do his best to have 3 running backs in there. So
yeah,
if Aaron Jones wants to play this week versus Detroit,
word. So yeah, for this week, it really is going to come down to Aaron Jones versus Kamara. Like, can he hold him off? And then basically, can James Conner come back versus Buffalo and get and negate what Cam Akers is going to do? So, like, look, just the way they're playing it out, right? Both of them, as of right now, we don't know what the end result is going to be, but both of them are playing 3 wide. So, you know, Marvin is running out A.J. Brown, Adam Thielen, and Robbie Anderson. And Jerem is rolling out Robert Woods, Keenan Allen, and T. Higgins. So
Keenan Allen, yes. Robert Woods, I just don't like him. I mean, not as a man to man, but
it's too late now. He's already playing, so you can speak on it.
I don't know what Robert Woods is doing tonight. I haven't looked at the stand and score, none of that. But he just here's the difference. Like, if I have a spot and I'm like, look, man, rally monkey, I gotta just put a guy in there and sub out somebody, I'm gonna take out Robert Woods personally and be like, all right, so who do I want to roll the dice on tonight? Because Woods just doesn't get in the end zone, man. Like, on some level, if you want to get in sort of like hyperdrive on the Millennium Falcon, then you need a guy who's going to get into that end zone, at least the threat of it. Woods will come out there, man, do like 4 for 44, 4 for 4. It's just like, dude. So if I had to just roll the dice, I'm like, look, Woods, it's been a good ride, brother, but you gotta.
Yeah, to your point, like even if you look at Robert Woods week 13, he went up against Arizona 10 catches, 85 yards, no TDs.
he run that Juju Smith-Schuster roll.
Right, but really when you're getting those kind of targets and volume, that touchdown is the difference between that good 18-point game and like 27.
Yeah. Listen, that dude will come out exactly like he'll come out average per catch 6 yards a catch, like Juju. Juju will have like 8 catches for 8 yards. What is it? So that's how I see Woods, man. Now he'll get in the end zone at least one time a season. How many touchdowns does he have so far this season?
5.
This season he has 4 touchdowns.
4 or 5?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. What is it?
5.
5. It's 5. He's correct.
Did he have any games with multiple touchdowns?
No.
Okay, so he's had 5 games where he's gotten into the end zone. All right. And out of 13 games, that's actually not that bad. I gotta stand a little corrected, but I just don't.
But here's the thing, there's still some game left, so we don't know. But you just gotta hope that this guy is like a target monster, and he's been that. Like, I can't deny that. Like, the dude got 10 catches last week. San Francisco, he got 7 catches. The week before that, Tampa Bay, he got 12 catches. So if you're looking at that, it's like, yeah, well, look. You know what? He ain't gonna get in his end zone, but it's a good chance he's gonna at least catch seven passes for like, who knows, 80 yards. And I can live with the team. It's not gonna burn.
It's 10:51 p.m. right, East Coast time. Are they in the fourth quarter in that game?
They got 8 minutes left, so that's a lot of time, brother.
No, are they up in that game?
They are up in that game.
Are they up a lot in that game?
They have Jarrett Stidham in the game. How about that?
Yeah, man, that game is a wrap. So whatever Woods has at this point, that's what he have. Now, Cam Akers might get some more love tonight, but I think Woods is all done.
Yeah, most likely you're right. But, I mean, to me, again, this is a thing of situation.
Raph,
it's like,
hold on. Are you over there taking notes or something, Raph? You better not be taking notes.
No, I'm just looking at the numbers.
He gets fun. It can't help him. So anyway, just kind of looking at his situation, it's like, all right, you can either roll out Robert Woods, or you could roll out T. Higgins for what that's worth, or you could roll out Kiki Kuti, or you could roll out Peyton Barber, I guess. I don't know, brother. Like, Latavius Murray, like, what do you want to do? So sometimes it's
bro, let's just go to Hollywood Squares.
like like, look, man, you know, it is what it is. Like, I did the best I could. Robert Woods is the safest bet. So, to me, I can't blame him, considering, like, all right, this is what Robert Woods has been doing. He's been getting a lot of volume. Like, am I going to do that or take the gamble and keep? I mean, and maybe Cody goes off because there's nobody else there. I mean, that would kind of be my thought, but I can't speak on that really because I'm not in the situation.
Right, because Fuller is out now, right?
Fuller's out. Cooks is hurt. The whole thing. Like, they ain't got
well, you know what? On the spot, I changed. Okay, all right. You got to throw to somebody.
You got to throw to somebody. But that's just me. But
yeah,
I get why he went Woods. It just didn't work out tonight. So Marvin did. So that's how it goes.
I think ultimately, though, I mean, shock the world, German, but I really think that Marvin is going to take this one on down the road, bro, into the finals. That's how I see it. You guys got to keep in mind, like, again, the psychology of it and the actual fact of it. If Marvin is able to get out to a lead this week, I mean, that's a buffer, man. Like, and granted, whatever somebody does in 1 week could be replicated by the other person the next week, right? We all know this. But, when you're down by a bit, it's just hard, man. And again, I don't know. Aaron Jones versus Detroit, fellas, that's all. I hear you on Kimura, but when Aaron Jones is like revved up and ready to go, forget about it. Yeah. I know. He did it to me.
Then you got Justin Herbert versus Atlanta.
Unless he throw every pass to Keenan Allen, I mean.
So you know what's funny? And I mean, maybe this is just me, but like, Atlanta's defense hasn't been atrocious. And I mean, granted, that bar is just so low. But like,
Herbert gonna be mad, man. The way he got handled last week, that dude gonna come out here like, I got a point to him.
Yeah, that's gonna be a shootout, bro. That's gonna be a shootout.
That Ryan Herbert. I just think again, I just think the matchups just don't play in Germ's favor right now. Now we'll see what Lady Luck has in store for next week. But
so here's a question for you though. Germ has Miles Sanders, right? And I mean, at some point, like, we all know the Eagles are trash, right? We all know that they just don't run the rock consistently with any one person. They like to throw. It's just a bad team all around, like offense, defense, special teams.
Yes.
But at some point, though, it's like you got a talent like Miles Sanders, and like, do you just throw him in your flex just on the glimmer of the hope?
I can't. I'm going to say no, but again, these are questions that the strategy of it, which I really don't want to dive into, but I think it's obvious with him. And again, this is all about knowing the players on your team, like. And then if you're from an area, right?
I own Sanders in Mel's league, and he's on my bench. So,
listen, man, in this life, okay, unless you're like, I won't say in this life, but in fantasy football world, unless you're like Marvin, who you're from New York, you live in New York, and you hear the local press about your team, it's hard. Like, it's hard to keep up with these guys. I mean, there's a lot of information out there. Like, okay, you're in Houston. You probably know more about the Texans than even we do, even if we're scouring the internet, because you're right there. You hear the local news, you get the paper, whatever. So you would know more than me up in Philly. I'm here in Philly. All right, like the Eagles all day, Eagles Nation up in this piece. And listen, man, and then just knowing NFC East football, knowing the Eagles, knowing all of these teams, it's like, listen, I ain't saying what y'all brothers need to do, but whatever you see, believe it. Like, it ain't changing no time soon. So if you just feel like within the flow of a game, I am curious to see what Jalen Hurts would mean to Miles Sanders. But Jalen Hurts, if okay, Vern, college football, Oklahoma, Alabama. It's like Hurts is not. It sounds good. It makes you feel good. Got the brother at QB, but I don't know. They play New Orleans this week. I don't know. I don't know if that's the right game. And granted, you go out there, play, you earn your money, whatever. But I don't know about that. I mean, so all I'm saying, Raph, is like, at some point, positive or negative, believe what you see. This is week 14 in the NFL. Believe what you see, man. Miles Sanders can go off on any play, man. He really can. He has that kind of talent. The question is, do you want to risk? Like, if you look back and you say, all right, well, I went down in flames. Are you okay saying, me and Sanders did it together? I'm good.
That doesn't even sound right.
Have the face of one who is full of hope, man.
I'm up here, man. Listen, like all the articles, everybody, they're like, Doug Peterson, why are you not? He's the best offensive talent on your team. And it really is true. They got like Fulgham in there, all these clowns at receiver, and you got Miles Sanders, and you have him on the field for like 20 plays. Why? Like, it's maddening because I know the talent that he is. If they decided in a game, we're going to make him the focal point, the dude could probably get you an easy 30, 35 points. I mean, he was doing it at the end of last year, and he's gotten even better, even with that ragtag offensive line. But the Eagles, okay, and this is the one thing you can't predict, which honestly, I don't know. They could come out this Sunday and say, look, we're going to make Miles Sanders the focal point. If they do, I believe he can get you, 100-plus scrimmage yards and a touchdown at least. Question is, are they going to do it? And I just think that they haven't shown that they will. Doesn't mean that they won't.
Yeah.
Miles Sanders will be sitting down if I'm in the playoffs.
Okay. I will say this: he's sitting down in Mel's league, and I got him on my bench, and that was my third round.
Right. There ain't no guesswork, man. Sometimes teams are just stupid. It's just like, again, we talked about this last week with Hilaire Edwards. Like, get him in the right sort of situation to prosper. And get the ball in his hands, and he'll make plays. But you get Reed, Peterson, these coaches, they fall in love with throwing the ball 80 times. And it's like, why? Like, you got to – and they wonder why these drives fall apart. They come on the first down, deep throw, second down, deep throw. I'm not saying make it easy.
You know what's interesting, though, about
work
that?
them into the game.
Interesting about Philly, though, like, I think last week they ran the ball, like, none on third down. Like, it was like – they just didn't run. They just don't run the ball.
They did. No, Raph, they did run the ball. But again, I said Peterson, and they had a Deuce Staley, which gets on my nerves back from when he was a player. But which has no place in this conversation. But Deuce Staley just irks me. So for what he used to do to Dallas. But they had about 8 guys running the ball last week. They even had Jordan Howard back. I'm like, Jordan Howard, when did he come back to Philly? And why is he running the ball right there? Like, how did I miss that? Like, did they, sign him overnight? Like, I thought he was in Miami. They cut him. Like, what? How's it do back in Philly?
I thought it was in Miami.
I remember when they cut him, I'm over here talking about, the teams up here, and I totally missed that he was back on the team, man. So you had him running the ball. You had Boston Scott running the ball. I don't want to say Corey Clement got in the game. Miles Sanders in the game. It's hard to – and I don't even know why teams sign off on this. Like, you have to have one central back. Even if you want to pepper in guys throughout a game, it's hard to say, all right, Sanders, you haven't been in since the first drive. Now, go in there and be mentally prepared to go. Don't make no mistakes. If you make a mistake, you're back over here. Like, you got to just let them just be. Like, let them just get in the game and get a feel for the game, the linemen, the defense. I think teams make it harder on running backs to prosper, actually, because they have this short leash, and it really makes no sense.
It's funny, now that you mention it, it's almost like Jekyll and Hyde. Because you got some teams that's like, here, let's feed Dalvin Cook the ball 450 times and Derrick Henry 450 times and do nothing else. And then you got
Derrick Henry, Raph. Derrick Henry had to work for that because remember early on in his career, they was like, nah, like.
Well, no, Henry's issue was he just invited contact. Like he didn't try to break away, avoid contact. Like now he's
No, I disagree. Well, I don't want to disagree. I'm sorry. Henry, the way Aaron perceived his dilemma with the Titans, they just treated him like a one-trick pony, and they were so intent on making Mariota the QB of the decade that they just said their philosophy just was not give Henry the rock. They kind of had built this offense, Dion Lewis, all these other guys, so Mariota could shine, I guess, because he would run. The minute that when Mike Mularkey with that exotic nonsense was out of there, Because remember, Henry would have these like 4-game runs at the end of these years where it's like, all right, he ran for 1,000 yards in like 4 games. But then the next year they'd be like, nah, but you got to sit down now. Once I think they shifted their offensive philosophy to like, we got to really get this guy a rock. He took off. So that was less about
for multiple years where Derrick Henry would get like 12, 13 touches. And it'd be like, yo, what are you doing? Like, this dude is not a 12, 13 touch kind of guy. He's a volume guy. Like, trust me. Once Derrick Henry hits you about 7, 8 times, you don't want to hit that brother no more. So you got to keep feeding him the rock. And so to me, it's like now you kind of see that. And it's the same thing, even like with this year, like with Hilaire. You look at his touches, it's the same thing. Like, the dude is only getting like 10 touches. It's like, dude, I can't do nothing with that. Like, I understand y'all want to throw the ball around, but give me my 17, my 15 to 17 touches and let me do work. Same thing with Jonathan Taylor. When he gets his touches, when he get his 15, he does work. When you give him like 8, he ain't gonna do nothing because it's no flow.
Even Dalvin, for his credit, last week he looked good because he was actually getting the rock.
Because
they playing Dallas. Yeah, he's getting the rock. They're playing Dallas. Let's see how he does. I'm pulling for him. Like, looking good is looking good. You can tell if a guy has the chops, right? But you got to get these guys the rock, man. Like, Taylor, for all of these rookies, like, they didn't have a training camp. They need reps. Like, you got to let them understand and see what's going on out in that field. But to hold him to this standard like he had reps and he just ain't getting it, that's not fair to him. Now, he had stuff to work out, and I think he's slowly starting to put the light on. But you just had these teams, man. They're just weird with their running backs, man. They're weird for no reason.
Yeah.
It's like you don't need Nyheim Hines and the other dude because Taylor can do all of that. Like, you don't need them.
So speaking of Hilaire, why did Kansas City sign Le'Veon Bell? Like,
they Tampa Bay South
like, why? Like, I just don't get it. I mean, maybe keep him away from other teams, but like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Teams just do not. Well, I would say between that one move, but Tampa Bay is the shining light of just nonsensical stuff, just cause they can. I mean, how is that working out for them? Like, there's not really those. I'm telling you, those sort of like all-star teams, they never work out, man. They never work.
I mean, what has Antonio Brown done since he got there? Like, nothing.
I don't know. He like threatened somebody or something. Look, all I want to do is just say, because we are dragging on. We thought this would be like a half.
Yeah.
I'm calling it for Marvin, and I'm calling it for Ricky. Those are my two picks for the finals, at least for week 1. We'll see what's up with week 2. So maybe I'll hold off. I think this week 14, Ricky wins and Marvin.
The week.
As
in the week.
Huh?
As in, you predict that they will be up by the end of the week.
Correct. I'm sorry. They will be up after the yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Not only this week, but next week too.
Man, yeah, the AC on that dating show is like, you get a flower, you don't get a flower. You get a flower, you don't get a flower.
Raph, if you switch the teams, right? If you were Ricky and Ricky was you, I'd be like, I think Raph's gonna win. It's just,
yeah,
I'm telling you,
I get it, man. Listen, I get it. Like, honestly, I think, Ricky for the momentum he's carrying, his matchups, like all the things that you want to have going into the playoffs, right now he got, right? So,
how do you feel sitting there with I'm not saying me directly, but me saying like you're co-hosting the show, but I don't think you're gonna win. How do you feel? How does that? Like, you guys just sort of suck it up as a co-host and be like, I see what you're saying. Internally though, you like, man.
You know what? You call me out week 1 for what is it? The black curtain, the third wheel, the
bro.
Whatever how it's called.
You know what, Raph?
I'm trying to be objective. I'm trying to be objective.
And you know, you can do that, but you were invited for the next 15 seconds to peel back the curtain. I mean, how do you feel? Because at least even as a co-host, I'd be like, nah, son, nah, I don't see it. Nah. Like, I'm gonna win.
Nah, listen, honestly, I think I'm gonna win. I'll say that. I think I'm gonna win, and it's only because I feel like, my team. Like, I know what my team is capable of doing. We've done it all season. We've done it without McCaffrey. Listen, every obstacle other than freaking bird.
Raph, don't do no like Hallmark fluff agenda hyping up your team. How do you really feel? Like, are you like, you know what?
I'll tell you how I feel. Honestly, I think this is a tough out. It's gonna be a tough matchup. Like, I'm not even gonna sugarcoat it. I think it's gonna be a tough game. I wouldn't be surprised if he were up after week 1. I keep saying it from the jump that, like, you know, the 2-week format I think is gonna be what I think. If there's a saving grace, it might be that. So we'll see, man. Honestly, you know, I have faith in my boys, man. I'm not gonna walk in there talking about, you know, Ricky's Peter McNeely, and I'm coming in like Tyson, just staring at him, you know, giving him the eyeball treatment while he's dancing around in the ring, and you know, and it goes 1 round. So nah.
Raph, you like that center fielder, man. Just keep running back to the wall. Like, back. Be ready for the catch. I don't know, brother. This game, listen, I think y'all matchup is very simple. The question surrounding the matchup, if we got to get serious for a few moments, will Christian McCaffrey get back? Can Mike Davis hold it down in his stead if you play him? Will the A-Rod, Devontae Adams connection prove lethal? And then is Tyreek Hill rated to chunk the deuces up on some fools out there? Or is he going to just have, like, you know, just sort of solid games? I think those are the keys. I mean, it's pretty obvious, pretty simplified, but in my simple mind, that's how I see it. So if Montgomery get 2 touchdowns again, you already there's some telltale things that you already know how a day is going to go,
man. I'll call this. I don't see Montgomery duplicating that performance this week. I don't.
No. Well, obviously, Raph, he's only done it like out of 32 games, he's only done it once.
Nah, but because
the odds are in your favor.
So they're playing. Listen, and I'm gonna have the benefit of watching that game because they play in Houston. So I'm gonna have to look at this game and watch this dude not go off, right? But then again, it's Houston, so he's probably gonna go off. But whatever.
And then I think Carson plays the Jets, right? And didn't they just?
That's. So does Metcalf, right? So does Metcalf. So I mean that there might be some.
Bro, game script. I see them beating down the Jets. And poor Frank Gore as an aside, because he's like, man, I don't want to go out like that. I want to win at least 1 game. Like, nah, Frank Gore.
He ain't even play. Isn't he injured? Ain't he hurt? Concussion?
Yeah, but he was talking on behalf of the team. Like, you can't go get 0-16.
You don't go 0-6. Listen,
Williams.
You don't call that dumb defensive play at the Hail Mary to talk about we gotta win this game. Like, you just don't.
Right. So how I see that playing out is the Seahawks probably get up on them and Chris Carson time.
Pretty much.
To some degree. And then Montgomery versus Houston.
Jonathan Taylor off.
Raph. Listen, man, on Sunday, do your virtual tithes and offerings, bro.
So previewing week 15.
Do your virtual tithes of 10%, brother. 10%. And you work for the federal government, 10%.
10%.
Because he got the right. Vern said the perfect storm, man. I hope you got your umbrella.
I got my poncho, bro. I got my poncho, bro.
And rain boots. You got rain boots?
Nah, man, we going Flintstone.
Listen, for next week's show, for your props, like, come out with a raincoat, rain boots, and an umbrella, and that rain hat you flip up, the little Paddington Bear joint, flip that up. You know, the flip up joint, like, man. Ricky on an award tour with Muhammad, my man, going each and every place with my mic in my hand.
New York, LA, DC, Tokyo.
Word. Coming to Houston, man. Back in '89.
I'm gonna show up in here with, like, you know, Chris Brown with the umbrella, dancing on the camera.
Twirl it up. All I'm saying, Raph, is if you're the champ, man, this first round, iron sharpens iron. Remember that, though.
Yep.
Word up. So that's all I got, man. The curse of 12-1, baby, right here. Memories of my past. That's all
like,
I have
right now.
Huh?
I said, you like Whitney Houston right now.
Listen, man. This
Oh,
Who you taking first overall?
that is all.
Listen, that's Vern. That's Vern. We listen. That's the all season.
Yeah,
The all season show, man. You know,
we'll
Vern.
get to that.
Right, like Vern is. Well, yeah, that's right. Vern is in pole position. He got the detonator. I'd rather be him than Brett or Romel, to be honest with you. I would just like to wrap up the show. Just again, I like to reiterate, it's always so nice picking before Romel. But even sometimes it's nice picking after him because you know whoever you want, it'll probably be there.
You never know what he's going to do.
Whoever you want, outside of McFadden when he got me for McFadden, like whoever you want, you know Romel is probably going to go in another direction. Brett, though, who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Brett's like, hey, yeah. I just got an email. It's Aaron's draft strategy. Who's Aaron?
Brett, you know what? I don't know. Like Brett be like, you know, spin the wheel and whoever lands on
the wheel of fortune.
Right. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows?
Wheel of fortune, free spin.
Right.
And then in season, you know, he lands on bankrupt.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Anyway, good show, man. Good luck, Raph. Honestly, good luck. You're gonna need it, brother.
Right.
Flip the coin in the wishing well. Go find a wishing well, man. Go out to the lake. Go out to the Gulf of Mexico and
I already had one from my boys.
Word.
So
good luck, everybody.
Good luck to everybody. Not too much luck. And we'll recap next week, see how things stand.
Word. Tyreek Hill, deuces.
Literally. All right, that concludes our Week 14 Coast to Coast matchup previews. Y'all stay healthy out there, and we will see y'all next week for Week 15 and see how these playoff matchups conclude.